morning, friends. Or it's close to lunchtime, so I suppose I should say good afternoon. How's everybody doing today? Man, I've been getting to make content. I'm loving it. Very exciting times. I thought I should do a video. It's kind of a safety video, yeah. It's Safety Nancy here with the safety video. So we'll cover a few topics. Safety, I think we've covered some stuff early on in my little video saga. We talked about first aid kits, and since then I've even upgraded first aid kits. I have an eye wash station in the bathroom there, and first aid kits with bandages in the van. At home, home's important. Fire extinguishers, just stuff that you know that you might be putting off about getting, and you really should go get it. You know, if you're thinking about that big fancy tool that's expensive and you're saving up for it, and you don't have a fire extinguisher and you don't have bandages, you know, we're all running power saws one way or the other. And incidentally, I am dying to get out and run a power saw and get a saw in some freaking firewood. I'm just dying now that my 372 is kicking. Specifically what I wanted to go over today is something that if you're thinking about having a shop, or you kind of have a shop and you're getting your first big piece of machinery, you've been running it out of your garage and you've either made space in your basement or whatever, you really need to take into consideration all of the dust you're going to make. And it's significant. The bigger the tools, the more dust they make. And I'm talking, you know, stuff like this, down to sawdust you can see, literally down to sawdust that you can't see. And that's really what I wanted to cover, is just trying to control all this. I mean, I clean, like the maid says, I clean. Never more is it more evident than at my black tool box. I haven't dusted this in a while, but this onto smaller, this is the kind of dust that we need to concern ourselves with. And this is left over from when my first big run of handles, my research run of handles, when I was chasing the curve. But that's the kind of stuff that over time is gonna really cause a problem inside here. So I've really made an effort in the past month, November and December, to get my dust collection house in order. And it's still not in order. I'm guessing that for the machine that I want and the piping that I want to put in here, it's going to run me somewhere in the neighborhood of $5,000. So I'm trying to eke along and make it as safe as I can with what I have. However, when you move to the larger machinery, the industrial machinery, you really end up having no choice. This saw right here can make dust faster than both of these collectors can pull it. So that's kind of a conundrum for me. So that's something that I really, it's always in my head. Every time I walk in here and I see a layer of dust, you know, it really reminds me that I've got a ways to go. However, you have to take stock of what you have done, control what you can, right? Well, I've tried to rearrange my collection to where it's more effective. This unit over here, let's see if I can do a little fancy swing in here. That unit over there pulls about 1,200, a scant 1,300 CFM which is a machine's ability. It's the same as what I call a fart fan in a bathroom. It's a fan's ability to pull volumes of air. It's not like a compressor where you're measuring it in PSI, air velocity, versus how much volume is being pulled. So that's what you're after with a fan, is CFM, cubic feet per minute. The higher the number CFM, the more static pressure you get and the more dust theoretically it pulls. Theoretically. So I had another one down there that's broken apart, and we'll get to this. That one's way down there. It was full, and I tore that apart today. I'm getting into a second run of handles, and some are for people. So I have cabinet orders going, and I have drawers to make and cabinet doors to make. So I really can't let these two operations, they have to be going simultaneously here in the shop, and I can't let them impede each other very much. I mean, if I have to use a spot that is going to require X machinery, I have to be able to, in a matter of a few short minutes, get it out of the way and get onto something else completely different. Axe handles and cabinets are pretty much on the opposite end of the spectrum. So I've got a 2x72 knife grinder, which grinds metal and wood. I use that for contouring the axe handles. This is a Pulaski handle. Got two more of these guys to make, but these get roughed out on the belt grinder, and it creates quite a bit of dust. And then I have the sanding center over there with 3 different sizes of pneumatic drum sanders. So all of that makes an extremely large boatload of dust, not only small dust, but fine dust. And that's got to be controlled. So if you're in the market for a setup like that, and they make these belt grinders that you can attach to bench grinders, slow speed bench grinders. You know, if you're doing wood, you want to run those around somewhere in the 15 to 1700 RPM range, but they do make adjustable bench grinders, which are really great. Depends on the setup that you buy. Jay Daniels has one made by Eastwood, and he absolutely loves it, and I want one, but I can't have one right now. The second thing is to help control the fines, and I want to get another one, is this guy right here. It's sort of like an ambient air filtration. Oh, it is. Did you get that? Ambient air filtration. It's nifty because it has a remote control. It's got a blower motor in there, and it grabs, it's running in this direction. It pulls the air in through a 2-stage filter system and dumps it back out. Another thing you need to be concerned about is the dust you're making with your returns, whether it's in your house or your HVAC system. You need to kind of figure all this out. And there's plenty of books available on this. Let me see, should I take you guys for a ride? Yeah, let's take you guys for a ride. A little bitty ride. Is that cool?
So we'll get our little, what did I do that for? I'm not sure what I just did, so I think it's off. We need cameras. So we're kind of we're standing on the workbench here. We're going to try to be careful.
So this right here is the output. And this right here, I hope you can see it because I'm leaning off the workbench. There's the pleated filter that's disposable. And yeah, so pleated filter goes in. Something you might want to think about investing in is a HEPA vac. a HEPA shop vac. This is a fine. It's one of the better ones. It's also one of the better priced ones. There's a company that is, I'm going to call the company Green and Black. Oh, let's see, let's make up a really good one so all you woodworkers out there will know who I'm talking about. Let's call it extremely overpriced Green and Black tool company that I would never own one of your tools in a million years. How's that? And I know, you guys that are diehard black and green tool that I will never buy, guys, I understand brand loyalty, but it's just too much money. I've been doing this for over 30 years, and there's no way. There's always a way that you can get around, and there's videos coming on that. It's just too much money. Anyway, enough on that. But the HEPA has a pleated bag in here. It's a fabric bag. It filters stuff down to microns. It all ends up in a bag, and there's a secondary filter in here like that air conditioner. That it really helps out in the shop a lot. And controlling dust is a daily thing. It really is. You kind of have to, model your day's activities around the messes that you make and evaluate. And it becomes second nature, but it's really good if you can sort of evaluate the messes you're making and try to control your messes prior to doing the task and have a plan in your head so that you just don't bomb your whole shop out and prohibit or impede the next part of the process. Having to stop and clean up and stop and clean up, that wastes a lot of time. So if you can, I've always been a proponent of catching the waste at the machine wherever possible. Even if it's cutting drywall in somebody's home, have a shop vac there with your knife or whatever you're cutting it with, your oscillating saw. Catch it so you can move on. That's another point. So anyway, here's a crappy dust collection machine that I'm making work. I think it's probably, I got it off a friend for free. Free's good. And I'm guessing it's Harbor Freight, maybe Northern Tools, something like that. It works, that's about all you can say. It's 110, which I don't like how much electricity that it draws, so it's on its way out. What I wanted to discuss is how I fix these guys up every time I change them. And it is something you have to factor in because it is kind of a big rigmarole. But it's well worth the effort. I've gone to where I haven't changed the top bag and just swapped out the bottom bag and done the band clamp, and it's still shooting a little bit, but that little bit that it shoots out between the frame and the bag over an hour, 2 hours, that's a lot of stuff in the air that you're hogging. So let's dive into this, and I'll take you through this. So I was about 2/3 of the way. Let me get over here. I was about 2/3 of the way up here, which is probably more, well, it is more. It's not probably, it is more than I like to let them. I only go about halfway. But what happens is once you get up so high, the ability for your CFMs decrease. What I do, and just to be thrifty, since I have a dumpster here that I share with 5 other people, I will dump this in the dumpster as long as there's no holes in it. You do need to, if you're going to reuse, you need to inspect for holes. Holes bad. Holes very bad. So I dump that out, and I kind of wipe off this because you can see that the first thing I do is I duct tape this onto this cylinder thing. I want a tight seal. I don't want anything, and you kind of have to be careful. You can lose your seal if you're not careful about getting a seal back behind these, because they only go up so high. So you could have this bag way up here and have a problem down here, and you're releasing particles into the air in your shop. So I duct tape this sucker back on. If it's messed up beyond, your logic will tell you if you need a new one. Don't be cheap. These plastic bags are fairly cheap. I had just ordered this morning fabric bags that I'll be able to reuse. I think they're around 30 microns from Grizzly. I got 2 of them for about 19 bucks a piece. And I ordered for this, since this is a kind of a crappy bag that came with this machine, I ordered a 2.5 micron. Now this is the bag where you've got the motor down here and your outlet is coming up through here. So these dudes that you keep in your shop are not the best in the world, but hey, it's what I've got. It's what I've got. Were you guys not paying attention? Get it as tight as you can. Before I clamp it down, I make sure there's a roll on this edge, and you want to make sure that your band clamp is below that roll, so you get a really good seal. I think that's as tight as it's going to get. Yeah. Okay, it's ready to roll. So basically, you got to see how you did. And you just keep an eye on it when you're using it. If you see something shooting out either way, you've got to kind of address that. That's ready to go. That's basically it. Take your lungs very seriously. Being a carpenter of several years, I've breathed so much terrible stuff. I wish I had been more diligent about, hey, where are you guys going? Don't go that way. I'm right here. I wish I was more diligent about what I'm breathing and where I'm breathing it. And when you're grinding metal, it's the same deal. They make metal dust collectors. They make metal downdraft tables. And they make wood downdraft tables. Whatever you can afford, I would spend it. It's well worth it. And one last thing I want to go over. If your budget is super limited, but you just know you're going to bomb yourself out, invest in a respirator. Something like this. This is a Draeger. It's from Germany. It's pretty good. Got it on Amazon. It has particle filters. Now these particle filters are not for, let's say, organic vapors and whatnot, so you would have to change out your filters. But this whole thing breaks down, and it's not like a dust mask where you would have to throw it away. This can be all washed. You can change your filters, and you're good to go. Not crazy about this strap system. I like the 3M respirator a lot better. But just protect yourself. They make these in full face. They make these with full face and air supply. Air supply. Oh my gosh. It's the day before Friday, folks. I think I'm already there with the Friday. So those are kind of some of the hoops that I jump through. Making handles has kind of forced this hand, because I can make a ginormous cloud of dust in less than 5 minutes, and and it's pretty terrible. So if you've got a new belt grinder, be prepared. That's what I'm saying. Just be prepared, because you're gonna make a mess. I mean, even if you're protecting your face, you're gonna create this cloud that's gonna settle over all your tools. And so, house cleaning, very important. Stuff on the floor, tracking it around, tracking it into areas. Like I track this stuff into my office, and you know, that's why I'm so glad my shop is not at my house. I did one giant cabinet order at home, and that was it. Never again. Even my own cabinets I make here. So I think that covers it. If you, I know there's some woodworkers. Hey, you guys that got the Bedrock plane, you guys, thank you guys for popping in and commenting. And like I was gonna say, if you have something to add to the dust collection, not debate, but idea. I don't know. Feel free to leave it in the comments, because nobody knows everything. Nobody knows everything. I don't care who you are. Even if you have those green and black tools that I will never buy. My friends that are diehard green and black, they can't stand me. But it's all in good fun. So let's keep it all in fun. I'm not meaning to insult you if you are a giant supporter of the green and black. Let's say lime green. Does that make it? So anyway, take care of yourselves, and there's more coming. There's still ice and snow everywhere, so I am after the cabinets, after the handles, and making content. Hopefully the deck will resume next week, because it would be nice to get paid. Thanks so much. I'll catch you on the next one.